I would trust a poison-filled wild scorpion in my shorts before I trusted the claim that the government cares about the homeless. Hey guys, study after study shows that if you want strong bones and muscles, healthy hair, skin, teeth, and nails, you need the 5 types of collagen in your diet. I get mine from BioTrust. I've got a link in the description with a massive discount, and it'll tell you all about it. I wanted to show you this. I watched this video. This was released on September 13th, 2021. This guy did a really good job highlighting another piece of government hypocrisy where you've got homeless people that are literally living out in the streets, especially in the northern areas. I know why all these homeless people, I mean, you do too, are moving to places like San Francisco, and there's crap all in the streets. So much crap that they have to create something called a crap app so that you know where every occurrence of human excrement was that you have to navigate around as you're making it to the office every Monday morning. But in the northern regions like, Chicago and Wisconsin, when it really starts getting cold on the street, the homeless, their lives are in jeopardy. So one step that they take to save their lives is they'll sleep on these grates where the steam comes up and it keeps them warm on these freezing ice cold Arctic nights. But look what the government did here in New York. New York City cares so little, hates homeless people so much that they've changed the grates so that they won't be able to lay on them. Check this out.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So if you needed any more proof that New York City was designed by assholes, I just thought I would put this here.
And talk about going out of your way to make something. These grates are typically flat where you can walk over. You can't even walk over this right here.
This is from my old neighborhood. I used to live right around Marcy Avenue and Park in Brooklyn, and they have these.
That right there is custom. That is a custom piece that looks like it's made out of all aluminum. There's no telling how much this grate right here costs as opposed to just the regular flat horizontal grates.
Grates where you'll have kind of hot air come up from underground. I think it's from the subway. I'm not exactly sure. But it'll just I think it's like for ventilating the subway. And what happened in the winter, because you have a lot of homeless people in New York City, because of both mental illness and also the fact that a shitty studio apartment can cost upwards of $2,200, is you had people that would sleep on these grates so that they wouldn't freeze to death. So you started at some point to have like 2 or 3 or 4 homeless people sleeping on these at a time. And what they did is instead of try to figure out how they can solve the root cause of the homeless problem, I talked about this in a recent video where New York City's paying $3,500 to $4,500 about a month to a, quote, charity that Cuomo had started 25 years ago. What they do is they put this stuff over it so that it's actually painful, so that now you can't lie down on this to sleep, because not only is it a metal grate, but it also sticks up in certain sections. Like you can see this one sticks up higher than some of the other sections, so that if somebody were to lie down on this, they would actually feel physical pain. And I'm confident that would totally fix the homeless problem in New York City. All you got to do is put these grates on top of here so that if someone tries to sleep somewhere where they will be warm and not die, they won't be able to. So good job.
It's really hard for me to believe that all the grates have been replaced with these right here. I'm not kidding. That looks super, super expensive. People were saying that this is cast iron. No, I think this is aluminum. This is aluminum. Cast iron wouldn't. I think they make those out of aluminum because they're lightweight and they're sturdy. They're super rigid and they won't ever rust. They'll last forever. So I'm pretty sure these are aluminum, but I can't even imagine that they've replaced all grates in New York City with these right here. I would have to see that. Looks like it's got a handle right here so a crane can just come by on the street and just kind of fit this thing right into place. Now, I'm not saying that this aluminum right here is not heavy in itself. Otherwise, somebody could just cart it off, throw it in the back of their truck and recycle it or something. I don't think they would make that out of cast iron. I wonder if New York City allocated the removal of all horizontal grates so that they can make it hard for the homeless to keep warm in the winter. New York winters are brutal. Chicago winters, Wisconsin winters. I would hate to be a homeless person out in the street in the wintertime. Louis Rossman is very honest about New York City. He shows all the crazy real estate costs and businesses shutting down. Awaken Eye says,
I have experience with the homeless in Seattle and Tacoma, Washington. They do not care. This is a piss target. Yeah, it doesn't look comfortable for laying down. It's like the natural inclination for humanity is to lay down horizontal, not be in an upright position. I wanted to show you this because I thought this was actually pretty cool. Now, I understand that this is in the context of the public fool system, and I completely agree with what Malcolm X said, is only the fool would turn his children over to his enemy to be trained by them. I agree with that, and that's what you're doing. You're turning the hearts, the minds, and the bodies of your children over to the government when you release them into the public fool system, when they ride the public fool bus and they get indoctrinated by the 15,000 hour government indoctrination system. But still, I thought this was interesting because dads are getting involved in, not even so much policing, but just having a presence in this public school. And it looks like the presence of dads, just run-of-the-mill, joking around, lighthearted dads, is having an impact on the minds of these kids. Check this out.
Not many good news stories begin in such a bad news way. It happened last month here at Southwood High School in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Plagued with violence.
Over the course of 3 days,
Another fight.
23 students arrested for fighting.
Massive police response.
But strangely, there hasn't been another incident since. Perhaps in part because of this most unusual crisis intervention team.
Nobody here has a degree in school counseling.
No.
No majors in criminal justice.
No.
Your qualifications are?
Well, Dad, we decided the best people who can take care of our kids are who? Are us. What we do.
So Michael Lafitte started Dads on Duty,
We're out doing what we do for our babies.
a group of about 40 Southwood dads who now hang out at the school in shifts.
Let's go.
Today, any negative energy that enters the building has to run a gauntlet of good parenting.
What's going on, buddy? You moving fast. I like that horse.
I immediately felt a form of safety. We stopped fighting, people started going to class.
How could that be?
You ever heard of a look?
A look? Dads have the power to do that?
Yes. Not many people know it, but yes.
Let's go.
But it's not just the firm stares and stern warnings.
Let's make it to class, my son.
It's also the dad jokes.
They just make funny jokes like, oh, hey, your student's untied, but it's really not untied.
And they hate it. They're so embarrassed by it.
And it's that perfect mix of tough love and gentle ribbing that dads do so well that has helped transform this school.
The school has really just been like happy, and you can feel it.
Which is why the dads plan to keep.
The reason I think this is so cool is that one of the reasons that kids are so violent and get into so much trouble is because there is an absence of the father in the family. It's almost like that's the part of the glue that holds the whole thing together. And when the family disintegrates, don't expect the society to stay together. If the family separates, how is the society going to stay together? And so when you have the presence of dads, it looks like it's happening. If all this stuff is above board, remember, we're watching all this stuff through CBS, which is continually broadcasting crap. I wonder, you always wonder what is the truth, but there's oftentimes there is a kernel of truth. And when you have the presence of dads and they are lighthearted and they seem like they want to be involved. And I bet there are some kids that go to that school that don't have a dad, who now see a father figure who can have a positive impact on their life. And if it truly did drop the violence level to that school to zero, you're talking about a major positive effect. Because think about it in your life. Do you remember those lives? I mean, they may be super, super brief, but where somebody had a positive effect on you because you respected them. They had a kind word to say to you. Maybe it wasn't even a word. Maybe it was just a smile one time from one person on one experience that you were on a subway. And it's like, you know what? I remember that. And that made a huge difference. I bet these kids will look back 20, 30 years when they're, old men and women, 40 years, 50 years, and go, you know what? That dad, I gave him my phone number and he reached out to me and people got together and helped me. And that's what formed me. Those were my formative years. Those people actually helped me out of a dark area. My dad left the house, when I was 2 years old. I didn't have a father figure. Father figure is very, very, very important.
Coming to Southwood indefinitely.
Because not everybody has
The father figure.
figure at home.
Or a male, period. in their life.
So just to be here makes a big difference.
Do you think you stumbled onto something here?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They'd like to start chapters of Dads on Duty throughout Louisiana.
What's up, baby boy?
And hope to eventually take on the country.
All right.
Without a fight. Steve Hartman, on the road in Shreveport, Louisiana.
How much do we love those dads?
Mainstream media doesn't want that, though. They want you to be in public school. They want you to be distracted. They want you to be deceived. They want you to be divided. They want you to be demoralized and dehumanized because it brings them more clicks, generates more revenue, brings them more views, gives them something negative to talk about 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey guys, we know with the way things have been going, it can get really interesting really quick. So make sure you and your family have a long-term storable food supply. Support the channel and get $50 off with my link in the description while you still can.